Once upon a time, there was a little bumblebee named Humma who lived in a beautiful, blooming garden. Humma was the youngest bumblebee in the hive and incredibly curious. While the other bumblebees diligently collected nectar and made honey, Humma dreamed of exploring the world and experiencing exciting adventures. Every day, Humma flew through the garden, always on the lookout for new secrets and hidden treasures. She happily buzzed from flower to flower, and enjoying the scent of the blossoms and the warmth of the sun on her wings. But on an otherwise ordinary day, while she was sniffing a particularly fragrant flower, she discovered something that made her heart race. In a shady part of the garden, hidden between tall blades of grass, something strange sparkled. Huma flew closer and discovered a small, glowing hole in the ground. It was no bigger than a ladybug, but it seemed to shimmer in all the colors of the rainbow. A gentle humming sound came from the hole, almost as if it was calling Huma to it. Without thinking twice, Huma decided to explore the mystery of the glowing hole. Huma hovered above the glowing hole, her wings trembling with excitement. She could sense that something magical was happening here. What could this hole be? A secret entrance to a hidden garden? A buried treasure? Or perhaps even a portal to another world? Bravely, Huma flew straight into the glowing hole. As soon as she crossed the threshold, the world around her began to blur. It felt as if she was being pulled into a giant vortex. Colors and shapes swirled around her as she shot through a narrow tunnel at incredible speed. Huma could hardly breathe from all the excitement and a bit of fear. But suddenly, the vortex stopped and Huma landed gently on a meadow of flowers. At first, everything was quiet. She blinked and looked around. The flowers around her were gigantic, much larger than those she knew from her garden. The air was warm and humid, and there was a strange but pleasant scent in the air. Where am I? Huma quietly asked herself and began to explore this new, mysterious world. As Huma flew through the giant flowers and tall grasses, she suddenly heard a deep buzzing sound. It came from a nearby bush. Cautiously, she approached and discovered a group of bumblebees that were almost 3 times her size. These bumblebees had thick fur and impressive wingspans. "Hello, little bumblebee," one of the large bumblebees greeted her kindly. "Who are you, and where do you come from?" "I am Huma, and I come from a garden far, far away from here," Huma replied bravely. "I flew through a glowing hole, and suddenly I was here. Where am I?" The large bumblebee laughed heartily. "You are in the past, little Huma. Many, many years ago, before there were beehives and flower beds, we lived here in these vast meadows. The glowing hole you flew through is a magical wormhole. It connects different times and places." Huma was amazed. She had actually traveled through time. "And how do I get back?" she asked worriedly. The large bumblebee became serious. "The wormhole is unpredictable. It only opens for a short time and then closes again. You must find it quickly before it closes, or you will stay here forever." Huma felt a slight shiver of fear, but also an excitement that she couldn't shake off. A race against time. But first, she wanted to learn more about this strange world. Huma decided to explore the foreign world before searching for the wormhole. The large bumblebees, whom she called ancestors, accompanied her on her journey. Together, they flew over giant ancient forests where enormous ferns and colorful blossoms grew, as large as small trees. They encountered strange but fascinating creatures. Once, Huma spotted a huge pterosaur circling in the skies, and another time, they had to take cover from a roaring dinosaur. The ancestors led Huma to a secret pond where crystal clear water bubbled, and magical lights reflected on the surface. It was a place so calm and peaceful that Huma momentarily forgot she was actually looking for the wormhole. But time passed, and Huma knew she had to leave soon. Her new friends bid her farewell and wished her good luck. "Don't forget us, little Huma," said the large bumblebee with a warm smile. "And remember, courage and curiosity will always guide your way." Huma flew at full speed through the dense forests and across vast meadows. She knew she had to find the wormhole quickly. But everywhere she looked, there were only flowers and trees, no glowing hole in sight. Just as she thought she might never find it, she heard the familiar humming sound. It was faint, but it was there. Huma followed the humming and finally discovered the wormhole, hidden between 2 giant fern leaves. But as she flew towards it, the ground beneath her began to shake. Suddenly, a deep chasm opened up and Huma fell into it. She frantically flapped her tiny wings, but the chasm was deep and dark. At the last moment, the large ancestor bumblebees appeared. They had sensed that Humma was in danger and had followed her. Together, they managed to rescue Humma from the chasm and carry her back to the wormhole. Humma felt her heart racing with excitement. "Thank you," she whispered. "I will never forget you." "Farewell, little Humma," the ancestors replied. "And remember, adventures await you everywhere." With one last deep breath, Humma jumped into the wormhole. The world began to spin and whirl around her again. Colors and shapes blurred, and then, with a gentle thud, she landed back in her familiar garden. Humma could hardly believe that she was really back. Everything looked just the same as before, but something had changed within herself. She felt braver, more adventurous, and knew she had experienced something truly special. The other bumblebees in the garden noticed that Humma was different from before. She buzzed more cheerfully and was more curious than ever. She tried to tell the other bumblebees about her adventure in the past, but no one really believed her. "Bumblebees can't travel through time," the others laughed. But Humma was not discouraged by this. She knew what she had experienced, and that was all that mattered. From that day on, Humma kept looking for the glowing hole, but she never found it again. Nevertheless, she continued buzzing through the garden, always on the lookout for new adventures. And who knows, maybe the next wormhole is waiting just behind the next flower. And so ends the story of Humma, the little bumblebee who took a journey to the past and discovered that courage and curiosity can lead her to the most incredible places. If you ever hear a little buzzing sound, it might be Humma, off on another adventure. And who knows, maybe one day you too will find a glowing hole that takes you to another time.